But to sort of sum it all up now, all three of the battlers that we've talked about tonight have different issues with. I've talked about laziness, complacency, and ego, but no matter what the issue is, it's the same result. And it's a result that, it will garner people talking about you. You are some of the biggest names in battle rap. Twerk, surf, chess. These are big names, and with those big names come big expectations. And especially when you talk such a good talk, especially when you talk up your abilities and what you're going to do, and you shit on everyone else all the time, people are going to come for your neck. And when they do, you need to just take that on board. Or you don't have to take that on board, of course, but you should be able to understand it in the context in which it's given. You've delivered really bad performances after you've talked yourself up, and that's a sort of a natural consequence. And it's interesting that, yes, you pay attention. Yes, there's a lot of yes, there may have been a lot of hate that has come your way, but I've also seen a lot of love. And if I'm seeing it, and I'm seen a lot of that on Twitter, and I'm not active at all on Twitter, I don't see your DMs, I don't see personal messages to you. You're ignoring the amount of love that I know you're getting. I think Kados was saying this on his show on Caffeine the other day, was talking about how the battlers will, scroll past message after message after message saying, keep your head up, or props to you, or, I really liked your material, and focus on the one that is hating, that has something negative to say, and that's what they'll retweet, that's what they'll repost, that's what they'll focus in on. And if that's where your focus is, then of course that's where the attention's going to be, because that's what you're giving attention to. If you were giving attention to the people who are supporting and encouraging and trying to motivate you, then that's where your focus would be. It's as simple as that, really. And ultimately, it's sort of an integrity issue. How much you care about your performances, how much you care about the people who invest in you, whether that's the leagues, whether that's the caffeine are involved now, whether that's the bloggers, the fans, whoever is investing in you, whether you care about that, says a lot about your integrity. And being prepared for the job that you've agreed to do is an absolute must if you want to maintain some sort of personal integrity. A lot of the battle rappers are talking about how difficult it is and how hard it is to, come up with the material, memorize the material, and then perform it under pressure in difficult circumstances when things often change last minute. And I 100% respect that, agree with it, but don't give a shit either. Like, when you bring that up, you're whining to me. You don't get to say this is hard. It's what you do, and you're paid well for it. Yes, we can acknowledge that it's not an easy thing to do at all, but that's why you're in the position that you are. That's why we admire you so much. That's why we invest so much into it, because we can't do it and we love what you do. So when you whine about how hard it is, we don't care, and it comes off like that. You're whining, and you're ungrateful, and you just kind of want to shake some of these guys and well, get out of it then. Find something else to do. Why are you committing your time into it? Why are you allowing people to commit their time and invest in you and care about you and want to see you perform and do well? You don't get to turn around and say it's hard. You're an artist, and when an artist wants to improve, they work on their craft. They hone their skills. They put in the hours that is needed to, really deliver and give to an audience the art in the way that they want them to have it. And if you want us to have chokes and stumbles and unprepared performances, then fine, you're doing your job as an artist. But if what you're giving us is not what you intend, then there's a problem there. There's an issue, and that's something that you should want to work on if you have integrity. That's something that you should want to improve. You shouldn't want to hate, kick out and throw your toys out of the pram and go on, spiteful attacks at fans and blocking sprees. And that's petty. And it's a waste of time, and it really, it's not a good look. It's not how grown men behave, really. Another thing which comes to mind is that we've been on lockdown. I don't know how many battle rappers in general have sort of normal jobs, have 9 to 5s. I don't know what they do with the rest of their time when they're not battling. It's a very interesting conversation. It's one that my guy 500k Fit, check him out, salute 500. He brought to me, what are these guys doing with their time? Because, Chess recently talked about that he doesn't have a 9 to 5, and Twork, it doesn't look as though he has. We see what Surf does with his time. What have you been doing with the time? If you're serious about your craft, if you're serious about progressing, if Chess is talking about retiring in a few years, what are you doing with all this extra time that you should have had recently on lockdown, whilst the world has been pretty much shut down? What are you doing with your extra time, even when we're not on lockdown? Those, if you're sitting in a house somewhere, any sort of a house, I'm not saying a trap house, not whatever house, but if you're sitting somewhere all day where you've got a lot of extra time on your hands, are you not there, working on your material, working on your craft? Are you not there just sort of rhyming and freestyling and just doing whatever with your extra time? Or are you sitting there, just wasting the time that you do have, that you could be working on improving what you do? Do you care? If you don't, then that's cool, but don't expect us to care either. And you can't blame the fans when they're shitting on you for not caring, because they're invested in you. And that's how any of these sort of relationships work. You're public figures, you have big fan bases, and to some extent you are accountable to those fans, only to some extent. Obviously what you do and how you act shouldn't be dictated by anybody other than your best interests. But you do have some sort of level of responsibility, as I keep saying, when people are invested in you. That's the long and short of it. And the last thing that I'll say on responsibility is taking it away from the battle rappers and putting it on the people who pay them, who employ them, who give them contracts, who book them. In this case, we're talking about all these battles have gone down on the URL. We're talking about the URL specifically. I've mentioned this already before. I do think the URL really need to take some responsibility for the guys that they're platforming and for the performances. To be fair to Smack, he did say after what was it, the Caffeine Ultimate Madness semi-finals, he did say that things are going to change, and that battlers won't be paid anymore for football. Pay will be deducted for poor performances. They're toughening up, locking down, and I think they need to be ruthless with those, with whatever it is that they're implementing, because the position that they're in now, I don't need to tell them. They've looked really bad on Caffeine thus far, and Caffeine are relying on the URL and on battle rap to really propel their platform. Caffeine are a tiny fish in an enormous ocean and are really trying to make a big splash, and they are riding the URL wave to do that. So the URL going up there looking bad time after time isn't doing anything for caffeine stock. However, I guess that gives the URL some leverage in that so much is put on them, so much of um, the push that caffeine is doing relies on them. So they do have a bit of, I guess a bit of leverage there in that caffeine do need them right now until they've got a better option, until something is more marketable. They are relying on the URL, but that means the URL needs to deliver. Otherwise, caffeine will find something else because this isn't it. And, so everyone around the board, across the board, needs to step up. I said in my interview with K-Dose on the Dose Effect YouTube channel, go and check that interview out if you hadn't already, and go and look at K-Dose's interviews. He has such a great interview style. He interviews everybody in battle rap and outside of battle rap and just in hip hop generally, and does some great work. So go and check out his channel on YouTube. I think it's K-Dose Media. Just Google K-Dose Dose Effect, you'll find it. I'd said that the URL really need to have, if they don't already, have somebody in place who just is a contact with the battle rappers to liaise on a business level, on a professionalism level, to be regularly checking in, making sure they're, on track, on schedule for their event. They've got all their ducks in a row, coming close up to the event, that their itineraries are sorted, that, their travel plans are, in hand, and that they're going to stick to them. And when any of these aspects of the business and performance fail, then there are consequences, and that means you don't get on the next big play, or when you're a persistent offender, you drop down in priorities, because there are so many battle rappers who don't have the status of the top tiers, but who are incredibly consistent and who do give great performances and will show up and promo and do their face-offs and be there at the battles and give us fans what we want, and we will in turn support them, because ultimately we're here for great performances. We're here to hear and see two guys, two women stand up in front of each other and beat the shit out of each other for 3 rounds. That's what we want. And if you give us that, we'll keep buying into it. And yes, we like the big names, but we like big battles better. So that's all I've really got to say on it. I said a lot already, but I did say, yeah, I was with the shits. Like, I'm not down with this and all the whining and complaining afterwards. Move on. Stop making excuses. Make moves. And this has been Battle Rap World. As always, I will thank you so much for joining me and for sticking around this long. If you're still here, like down below. Thank you very much. And I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone, all of the subscribers. We reached just over 100 this week, which was a massive achievement, one which I was so grateful for. It might not sound like a lot, but to me, it's real. That means there are 100 of you out there. Most of you don't know me on a personal level, who care enough to want to watch my work, and that really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Continue to share and to talk and to comment. I appreciate all of the feedback and the encouragement and the support. In my not professional series, I did a lot of shitting on the men in battle rap, and I tweeted this out I don't know, some point recently, and I'd just like to say here, because I said it, I had a lot of words for the men of battle rap in that last series, and so I'd like to also say here just how much on a personal level, how much love and support and motivation, inspiration, encouragement I get from everyone who I've encountered in battle rap. And the men in particular, I've had nothing, not the men in particular, but just because, like I say, I shitted on the men, I would like to say my personal experience has been nothing but love, and I'm so grateful for that, and really appreciate the sort of really warm welcome that everyone in the community has given me. So yeah, I wanted to just make that point to because it is the case, and yeah, just clearing that up. And yeah, coming up, I don't know what we've got. I'm just glad to be at the end of this one, and yeah, see you on the next one. Thank you very much for joining me. I have been London Jen. This has been Battle Rap World. Good night.